Are you a good girl, or you just say you're a good girl? You're lying, huh? You're not really a good girl. I'm a bad girl.
I think everyone has a why for why they do what they do. But when you ask Susan Wallace hers, make sure you're sitting down.
Want me to start?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Scooter's Pals started about 17 years ago when Scooter was basically murdered in a home invasion where I had a carpet cleaner that was a meth addict, thought I looked like his mother, and came back to kill me.
It was 3:30 in the morning. He stabbed her, slit her throat, and set her house on fire. Bleeding profusely, a life flight took her to a nearby hospital. But when she woke up, a friend told her that 2 of her 4 dogs had died. The man went to prison, but Susan still had grief and trauma to sort through.
Something drastic happens, something just kind of changes the reality of what you're going to do.
She'd recently retired from law. She was already known around town as an animal lover. Starting a rescue to get dogs off death row suddenly made sense. Fast forward to now, 2024, standing on the porch of the very house that burned. The dog on her lap is the reason our paths are crossing. Heidi was on the euthanasia list at the shelter where I volunteer. I don't normally work with the small dogs, they kind of adopt themselves, but she wasn't even adoptable. She had a series of health issues, including some mammary tumors, and the overburdened staff was not going to be able to help her. She had kennel cough at the time, so she was extra pathetic, but she grabbed my heart immediately. She still had so much life left in her. I reached out to a few rescues, and Susan responded almost immediately. She wanted to make this work. And she did. Several months later, Heidi is like a new dog with a new lease on life, but at a large cost to the rescue. It wasn't just tumors that needed to be addressed.
I think I ended up spending $4,900 for kidney stone removal, spay, removing the 3 or 4 malignancies that had not metastasized, the vet said. We did her teeth. Her teeth were a mess.
The money is already spent, but I wanted to help Susan try to raise it back. Scooter's Pals is completely volunteer run, no paid staff. Even their trainer works on the barter system.
We're not very active in the media. We're all older, so none of us have any of those skills except to run our mouth. I mean, that's about it, you know, and to help dogs, of course.
Susan admits being partial to pit bulls and shih tzus. She says she's had them all her life. But Scooter's Pals pulls dogs of all sizes, all breeds, all ages. And if anything falls through, they always take their dogs back.
We don't put dogs down because they're inconvenient to us. I mean, that's not what we do.
Susan has a few of those dogs at her house. The ones that she knows will probably never be able to be adopted, or if they were, it would have to be an extra special home. Trixie, for example, is blind, and Susan doesn't want her to have to learn a whole new house all over again. Heidi has been a perfect addition to the mix these last few months, so much so that Susan has become really attached. She knows it's time to find Heidi a forever home, but I think you're going to have to be pretty one of a kind to adopt her. Learn more about Scooter's Pals and get in touch with them at scooterspals.org, and consider making a donation while you're there. Every little bit helps them get closer to their goal.